Hey everyone, welcome to the Final Circle podcast. Today is November 27th, 2018. This is the fourth episode of the podcast. We finally have come up with a name and we are now live on iTunes, so you can download at your convenience and listen anywhere. And we are now working on Google Play as well, so that should be up and coming in the next few weeks. And as per usual, we are on YouTube. And obviously joining me is the illustrious Blitz 5, so say hello.
What's up? How did we like Cypher 5 doing today's intro in the fourth round? Here we go.
Send it.
Very exciting. Just send it. Sometimes you got to send it. That's good, man. Very well done. Very well done. And yeah, the name of the podcast, I don't know if you said, is The Final Circle, which you guys probably already saw on YouTube, or if you're watching this on iTunes now, which is pretty cool, or listening, I should say. Pretty cool. I posted a screenshot of the Final Circle logo next to Joe Rogan and all the other podcasts that I listen to. I mean, I know they just accept it. There's nothing you have to do. You just fill out an application, iTunes accepts it. So it's not like there's this whole process. Like, it's not like they're listening to us and testing our podcast, but it was cool to see it with all the other things. Did you see that post on Instagram that I did?
Yeah, it was a really good post. I liked it because it was right next to all the good podcasts.
yeah, exactly. Those are the ones I'm currently listening to. For you guys who haven't seen it, you can follow me on Instagram at Blitz5 and Friends. It was Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, the H3 podcast, and the Final Circle. And those are probably the three podcasts I listen to the most, like right now in the past month or so. Those are the ones that I listen to. I don't know. You said you've been listening to a lot of podcasts recently, right?
Yeah, so I actually have been listening to the Eavesdrop podcast with Hex a little bit, just because it's something different.
Is that what that's called? I saw that getting promoted today.
It's the who promoted it? I wonder.
Just like on iTunes, it was like on like the front page.
Yeah, it's doing, I think, pretty well. I mean, there's not many podcasts where I guess they get to, like, people talk to professional gamers like that, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, like, there's parts like that I'm like, whatever. But then it's cool, like, to look inside, like, the life of some of these guys that are, like, now kind of retired, I guess you could say, from professional gaming and, like, what they do now. And it's just different. Yeah. Kind of looking at the life of, like, how the whole industry was built. So it's cool. But then I listen to H3, obviously Joe Rogan. Yeah. What else have I been listening to?
And if you guys want some esports information, definitely check out our last podcast with BZ Tommy. We went into a lot of esports stuff, which was really cool. I really enjoyed talking to Tom about all that stuff. He knows a lot about esports and all that information, so that was a good episode.
Yeah, massive
to do. Yeah, for sure. And also, one thing I wanted to mention is I thought it was pretty cool that we got the name The Final Circle. I think you came up with that name, right? When I was searching for it, it's a pretty creative name. And to be honest with you, at some point, PUBG or a person related to PUBG was definitely going to make a podcast with that name, or at least for the competitive scene. Like, it's such a great name for, anything PUBG related or Battle Royale related, really.
Anything Battle Royale. We should get a website, or I shouldn't have said that live, but I'm doing it now.
Yeah. No, I wonder if, kind of websites are almost like outdated now, I feel like, for some things, but I wonder, if you go to GoDaddy, how much that costs if it's like a popular name. I'm about to check it right now live while we do the podcast.
Get your credit card out real quick.
Yeah, so what is it? The Final Circle? Yeah, people are probably already purchasing it. If you guys purchase it, just send it to us.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Final Circle must be already taken, but you could do like they're already taken.
.io or something.
You could do the Final Circles, but we don't want that.
No, that doesn't make sense.
No, how dare they?
I mean, we could do Final, Dang.
It's fine. Between iTunes, I mean, no one's visiting. I don't visit Joe Rogan's website. I just, YouTube and podcast, that's all we need.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point of a website unless you're selling merchandise, I guess, really?
Yeah, realistically, I don't really visit many websites like anymore. It's like you visit like big websites like Amazon, YouTube. You don't visit like joesmo.com, really. Very, very rarely anymore.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't think of anything I've actually had to go on a website for besides like if I'm Googling for information about something is when I get on a website.
Yeah.
But true. I'm never going on our website for like hearsay stuff. I just go on social media.
Yeah, or like even going to like Coca-Cola.com. Like, who goes to those websites? Nobody.
And just the IR page for investors.
Yeah. That's true. That's
about it.
So let's see. We got a bunch of stuff we want to talk about today. A couple different gaming things. I was trying to decide if we should start off with PUBG first, or if we should talk about other stuff and then go to PUBG. Kind of tease that for the end. What do you want to start with?
I think we should tease it towards the end. I think we have some good agenda items, so we can definitely put that towards the end because we always have PUBG stuff, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so do you want to start with Battlefield 5 then? You said you've been playing that with Day.
Yeah, So Battlefield 5, amazing graphics. I think that's like what it will be known for right now, is that the graphics are
Really?
unreal. It's a beautiful game. Some of the physics are a little weird. Like when someone gets blown up with a grenade, they're going flying across the map. It's kind of funny, but it's
Okay.
probably one of the prettiest games I've ever played in my entire life, especially on the Xbox One X. It's just like so smooth, frame rate's great, graphics are unreal. Like you can see when people are running and like they stumble or something like that, they kind of like make it. You're
Wow.
running through fields of like grass, or I don't know if it's like wheat, and you can like literally see the detail. It's really nice. The gameplay is a little different than Battlefield 1. So if you're a big Battlefield 1 fan, you're going to notice that you die a lot faster in this game. Like you don't have the same hit points or something. But other than that, it's pretty similar to most Battlefields. Besides that, I just feel like I've gotten killed really quickly. Same like, long matches, fun games.
Same thing where you can you can spawn in on your teammates, and that kind of helps
Yeah.
you if you play strategically. You can get back into the fight a little faster. That whole thing is the same.
Yeah, that mechanic is the same. Actually, they lowered it from 5-person squads to 4-person squads. I guess EA felt that there was some, like it would be better that way. I don't really know what the logic was there.
Really?
I think it's kind of dumb because you have.
I feel like
less
they should have
spawn.
made it bigger.
Yeah, I agree.
If anything.
I think it should have been at least 5, because then you have one less person to spawn on. But maybe they did that because they felt that too many people were able to spawn. I don't know how they would even come up with that logic that 4 is better than 5. But yeah, 4 is it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit different. There's some updates, but it's similar mechanics of the game. You know what I mean? Like create a class. I think there's still issues from Battlefield 1 that are still relevant in Battlefield 5, or not relevant, but still are in Battlefield 5. I don't think I can edit my classes outside of a match.
Like when you're in the match, you can't edit your class. You're saying when you're in the game, you can't change anything. It's only when you're out of the class, out of the game.
No,
right?
only
Or something, or is it vice versa?
no, it's vice versa. Only when you're in a game.
Oh, it's right. In Battlefield, you can only change your class when you're in the game. In Call of Duty, you can only do it outside the game, which makes more sense because you have time to kind of change it.
Yeah,
outside
instead
the
of
game.
wasting time inside the game. I mean, granted, the games are like 30 minutes long, so you do have time and stuff.
True,
but it's
but-
still annoying when you're learning like what things are better, what things are worse.
Yeah, but part of the whole fun is kind of like when you're just sitting back and like you don't feel like playing. You're like, oh, let me try like this class. Let me make like this create a class or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Plus, like I feel like when I'm playing, I don't want to be missing a second of like opportunity to get a kill or to get a point or something. I mean, at the end of the day, I get Battlefield is slower than Call of Duty, but in Call of Duty, I would freak out that was happening because like every second I had to be like 100%
Yeah.
paying attention. I'm like running around.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, Battlefield to me, like, I think we played, me, Day, and some other people the other night, we played like 3 games and it lasted like an hour and 45 minutes. That's about all of Battlefield 5 I need to do for a night. Like, I'm like, okay, I can go to bed now. It's a very like relaxing game, if that's weird. Like, I'm not like amped up like I would be if I played Call of Duty or PUBG.
Or PUBG, maybe.
Yeah, like I'm like I need to like cool down before I go to bed after those games. Battlefield, I feel like I could crawl right in the bed and go to sleep. I feel like I'm falling asleep in my chair typically towards the end of that game. Still a fun game. It's just they're just long and they're just like kind of the same thing for the whole 35 minutes. Not much is changing. So, but I still like it. I don't know really why I like it that much, but I think it's I like the game. It's a fun game. It's different pace. I think that's why I like it.
Yeah, can you still switch teams in the middle of a match?
I think so. Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of annoying that you could do that. I don't know why. I just thought, like, I know it's helpful when you join a lobby. I mean, and the lobby system is always messed up. And I know it's helpful, like, if you're in a game, I can join in, and then like when it's available, I can be on your team.
Yeah.
But to me, the fact that you could so easily switch teams was so annoying because you could be like the team could be winning and someone could drop out on the other team, and then someone from the losing team can just switch to the winning team or something. Just like it makes it less like serious, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't like that.
No, yeah, 100%. And I'm sure people will be correcting everything I say that's not correct. You know what I mean? Be like, no, you're wrong about this. But I think that the lobby system is better than Battlefield 1, so I kind of have to go back step a little bit. I think that they've adjusted it so it's better. Not great, but better than it was. So like if I get invited to a game, I get into the I'm kind of in the lobby, but like it will automatically put me on the right team. It used to kind of just put you wherever. I don't know if that's because my teammates were kicking people out of their squad or whatever, but it seemed to let me join in and be on that correct team and put me in the squad and everything. So that's definitely better. They made it a little bit better of a mechanic in that sense.
Yeah, there was like a lot of issues with that, and even remember the Battlefield we tried to play like 5 years ago. What was that, like Battlefield 4 or something like that? It was horrific. We had such a hard time playing that game together.
Yeah,
that was one of the worst experiences.
And the worst thing about that was that it was right when Xbox One came out, and we were like, we need a game to play with each other because Call of Duty Ghosts was out, and that game was garbage. Yeah. And we were like, well, we're all getting Xbox Ones. Let's get Battlefield 4. It looks cool. It'll be a good game we can play. And it never worked for like months.
It's crazy.
It's terrible. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think.
And I finally did watch some Battlefield 5 gameplay, and you're right, it does look really good. I was actually confused for a second. I was like, what game is this? Because all Battlefields kind of look the same, but this game just looks so visually impressive that I thought it was really cool looking. But
yeah, they definitely updated the engine or something, I feel like, because it blows Battlefield 1 out of the water with graphics, I feel like.
Wow, that's crazy. But what do you think? Like, I'm just shocked. I just think that I'm not really in the mood to play Battlefield, maybe because we played so much Battlefield 1. Do you think this is kind of like a game you buy if you feel like you want to play it, or do you think we should wait, like something like someone like me who hasn't purchased it yet? Should I wait and see what they do with like Battle Royale for the game to come out, or should I just completely skip it? Like, what do you think for someone who doesn't have it?
See, I think like for you, I would wait. I think if you're someone that really likes Battlefields and you haven't bought it yet, and you're not like have a full stack of games on your plate right now to play, like you're not playing Red Dead 2 or anything of that sort, I think it would be a great game to get.
There is a campaign, I think, too, right?
There is a campaign.
Something to consider for people out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of content, just as usual, Battlefield. But I think if you're like playing Red Dead 2, you're into PUBG, you're also playing, I don't know, something. So
maybe Call of Duty.
I think it's a little much. Like me, I don't play Red Dead. I'm not playing any other games besides Blackout, Call of Duty in general, or PUBG. Yeah. So it's a nice change of pace for me, and I like Battlefield series.
A lot of shooters, though. A lot of
shooters this year. And it's just an every other year thing pretty much for Battlefield, I guess, but Star Wars Battlefront kind of is the in-between years, but
yeah,
it's tough. For you, I would say wait. See what they do with the Battle Royale. See what...
I think it's smart that Battlefield comes out every other year now. I mean, regardless of whether or not Battlefront came out. I think these games are so well made that at this point, like, I just don't see a point for them to come out every single year. You know what I mean? I think that's like, that fatigue is really killing me with Call of Duty for sure. I finally felt it for the first time.
Yeah.
With the multiplayer at least.
I just don't, and I think that's 100% it with Call of Duty. I just don't understand why they don't like basically say, hey, you know what? Treyarch's going to make the Call of Duties from now on, or we're going to merge these 3 departments, and, we'll save some money and we'll make maybe not make as much money on, new games, but every other year we'll come out with a Call of Duty or something like that. But they'll never do that. But I think
no. I mean, they actually might eventually move to something weird like that, but who really knows? I mean, what they're eventually going to have to announce. We said this before, so I don't want to get too far into it. Yeah. But they're eventually going to have to announce what they're going to do with Blackout, like after this year.
Yeah, they got to figure that out for sure. But I was actually thinking this like when I was driving this morning, because actually like I was listening to Each Drop podcast and they're talking about like Battlefield, and I really realized, like, I remember that for Battlefield 1 they were really serious about making like a competitive Battlefield 1 game type, and I don't think it ever happened. I remember that they were gonna make like a really good, like a really competitive part of Battlefield, and they had like advertising.
True. I mean, you and I made it pretty far into Battlefield 1. Like, we played that game for at least the full year, and that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
We might have played it even past the full year. And we got into some, like, they had a lot of content in there, but I don't know, you're right, if they added new weapons and things like that, and they had new classes, right? They had like I think they added a new class, like that trench warrior class.
Yeah.
And some other stuff, but yeah, I don't think they ever added that. And you're right. They did mention they were going to do that.
Yeah, I don't think it ever came to fruition. It just, I just remember that this morning. I was like, oh yeah, I thought I was like really going to be into that, and then it just never happened. And I was like, well, sick.
Yeah, it's kind of tough with Battlefield because how many players there are in the maps and stuff like that. But you know what I did do in the last Battlefield game that I never did before is I started. Sometimes you guys would play it with me, but when you guys weren't on, I would just get on those. team deathmatch games, like on the small maps that I never had done before. I don't even know if they were in the previous games. It was actually a lot of fun. Like it would be like up to 100 points team deathmatch, with a smaller map, and you'd kind of like run around. It was a little weird, but for Battlefield, but I kind of thought it was fun.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I think we did play like the pigeon one or something like that.
Oh yeah, Pigeon and something else. Yeah, I thought those were kind of cool.
Yeah, they were cool.
It was interesting.
Definitely different.
I don't know.
But if anyone out there wants to play some Battlefield and they really like it, go get it. But it's a great game.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately, yeah, I'm gonna wait for Battle Royale on that thing. And also talking about that, well, I was gonna say we got a couple other games I want to talk about. You okay if I move on to Brawlhalla really fast?
Definitely.
I'm gonna do this for a second.
No, definitely keep it moving here.
All right, so we'll talk about Brawlhalla really, really quickly. I just streamed this today, like briefly on the stream, kind of like a quiet day. I didn't stream very long, and I finished my dailies on PUBG. So Spooky, shout out to Spooky if he ever listens to the podcast, and Lil Dag Master also to him as well.
Spooky.
They played this game called Brawlhalla, which is like Super Smash Brothers on the Xbox, and I think it's on multiple platforms. I know it's at least on like PlayStation.
Yeah.
And I think they said it was on PC as well. And it's just like Super Smash Brothers, but not different characters. And it was cool. I could definitely see how it's really fun if you're into that type of game. It's like could be really, really fun. I just I enjoyed Super Smash Brothers and fighting games when I was younger, and now I'm just not really into them. And it's available for free to download. I think it's so. Will I play it again? Probably not. Will I stream it again? Probably not. But I definitely enjoyed playing it, so I just wanted to mention it on the podcast for today. And then also moving on from that, I wanted to bring up ROE, which is Ring of Elysium. So I tweeted that out and it had some mixed opinions. Day, and you were doing the time that I was playing Ring of Elysium. And someone told me in the stream one time that this was being made by PUBG. And they're like, can you believe this? Ring of Elysium is being made by PUBG, and they can't even figure out PUBG. And I was like, what? And I looked, and it's being made by Tencent Games. So people get confused because, they don't understand that Tencent is a massive, massive company. And they make the mobile version of PUBG. But Tencent is like this. It's one of the biggest companies in the world.
Yeah.
So them making a game isn't like, they're not in partnership with PUBG on everything. They're just in partnership with PUBG on the mobile game, at least as far as we understand. I mean, who knows if they have other deals or contracts going on. But this game there's no mention of PUBG or Bluehole, but it does look like PUBG, and they also have some like winner chicken dinner vibes going on. Like on the back of the helmet, there was a chicken dinner emblem. So definitely some like borderline copyright infringement, but like
typical
Tencent's
China.
a Chinese company, so they don't really have to worry about
Pretty
that
classic
as much.
China company.
Yeah, but it is being released like in the US and all this stuff. So I don't know. I mean, it wasn't direct. Obviously, PUBG doesn't own a chicken dinner or the image of a chicken dinner, but obviously just something very similar. And what was cool about this game is I actually played a game, I think it was called Project Darwin. Lil Dak had asked me to play this on stream, and it's another Battle Royale game. Obviously, there's like so many of these Battle Royale games coming out now on all the different platforms. But it was similar to this Project Darwin in a way that instead of being a circle, there's different quadrants on the map. So instead of the circle closing, quadrants of the map close. So in both these cases, Project Darwin and ROE, it's getting too cold in that area, and you need to move to another area. So there's like a blizzard coming, and the map that I think there's just one map. It was just a like mountainous map with snow. There were some footsteps, but they disappeared pretty quickly. And just like PUBG, there's weapons, things you can do. There's also like different loadouts you can spawn with. So if you want like a rock climbing gear, you can spawn with rock climbing. If you want a glider, so you can glide off the mountain at any time, you can use the glider loadout. And I didn't play many matches. I just was like, I'm not good with keyboard and mouse, and it's only on PC. And again, shout out to DJ Av Live, I think it is, who asked me to play this game and check it out. And even Graham Reaper was telling me about ROE. So basically just a PUBG clone. I didn't find it, particularly amazing. It was just like a regular Battle Royale. What is cool, though, is that at the end, 4 people can survive, up to 4 people. There's a helicopter that comes, and you can either try to kill everybody or you can get in the helicopter. And what people do is they wait and they kill people while they're trying to get in a helicopter. So, like, you can sit there and try to kill everyone and be the only one surviving. Or if you get to the helicopter first and no one's around, you can get in, and then another person get in after you, up to 4 players. So there could be multiple people winning the match, which I think is really, really cool, because the odds of you winning a game, is really low. If you're playing 100 people, it's 1% chance.
Oh
by
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
So having this thing kind of brings that percentage up a little bit, but then also people are kind of just trolling because they'll just wait around the helicopter and just shoot you. So it ends up kind of being the same thing. But I thought it was a nice creative spin on it, sort of with the helicopter, and I like the quadrants. But at the end of the day, I like just the typical blue zone. I like that style, how the blue zone's closing in, and then the circle kind of changes. I like the circle closing in as opposed to quadrants. I just think it's a really creative thing. Sorry to repeat myself, but that was pretty much it.
I mean, I watched some videos of it, like after you mentioned it, and I saw like you can like create avalanches and stuff like that. That looked pretty cool.
Oh, you can? Oh, that's
so
cool.
Yeah, someone was like throwing grenades and at the like climbed up the mountain, was like throwing grenades in the mountain, and an avalanche occurred and they got killed.
Oh
wow. But I saw that you could like have a snowboard package. It looked pretty cool. And
oh, that's right, the snowboard is the third package, at least off the bat. I don't know if you unlock more as you go.
Yeah,
but that was
it looked pretty cool. It looked like fun to try like out. How was like the gun fighting and everything? Was it smooth? How like, I mean, it's hard since you don't really play PC, but I'm sure.
I don't really play PC, so I wasn't shooting my gun a whole lot. It seemed, for the most part, it was pretty good. I just have a really hard time aiming. I mean, controlling recoil, not playing with a mouse and keyboard. I think that's something that like noobs on computer, or like if you're a pro, you don't realize that people who don't use mouse and keyboard for gaming, like I have no instinct to fight recoil. And, you know, like when you click something, if you're in Excel on your desktop, you're not fighting recoil. Like you're like, oh, here's this desktop icon, I'm clicking it, you know? So while I get it, like PC Master Race, it's so much easier to aim with a mouse, because I'm not used to like fighting the recoil. It really messes with me when like on controller, I've been playing it for so many years that like you kind of instinctively like lean up on the thumbstick while you're shooting, you know?
Yeah.
You're like fighting the thing. So when I shoot, like I'm trying so hard to like aim, and then I'm like, oh, I got him. And then I click, and I literally just hold click. And it feels so weird to click to shoot after you have trigger shooting.
Yeah.
You know, on console, like click to shooting is not rewarding, because like, I mean, come on, on Xbox you get to push an actual trigger.
Yeah.
So it feels like you're shooting the gun. So clicking feels super, you know, just lame. And then I sit there and my gun just goes straight up, like if I'm on auto. So I started shooting just single fire and tapping the mouse, and then I did a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a weird thing, because you're not like with a stick. Yeah, you're like, you play inverted, so you lean up, I lean down. But like,
oh yeah, I lean up.
Just so people know.
True.
Like, I mean, no one's gonna correct that. It's weird because you have to like pull the mouse down. It's a weird, you know what I mean? You're not like, you're moving your whole hand. It's a completely different feeling.
Yeah, true. I didn't even think about that, because I really didn't do it. You have to like actually move. I wonder if I would play better if I inverted my mouse while I was gaming.
Maybe. I mean, I bet a lot of people, it feels probably more natural to push it up than it does down, to be honest with you, for a mouse. Because like in a mouse,
I don't know. It's kind of the same, but my brain kind of just works weird that way when I'm playing first-person shooters. I kind of like go opposite.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get like everyone thinks differently like that, but I mean, I think it's the fact that like people. Like, it's just that different motion. Like, you're like with the controller, you're using your finger. With this, you have to actually move your whole arm almost. You know what I mean? You're moving your mouse, you know, up and down to kind of compensate. It's definitely different. And I remember, I think when I was playing PUBG on computer, I feel like I need like more desk space. Like, I wasn't like set up well on my desk that I could like move the mouse properly. You know what I mean? Like to play.
Yeah, for sure. I felt the same way.
So, and I'm also like playing on a laptop, so it's like, that's the first thing. You can't play. It's just hard to play on a laptop.
Yeah, you know, and there's again, we don't need to get into it because we're not PC gamers, but that's two schools of thought too. There's like people who they call it like I don't know the exact or correct terminology, but there's like elbow mouse users who like they move their whole arm and their elbow when they're moving the mouse. And then those people have like a lower sensitivity, so that they're using like their whole arm to move. And then there's some people who play with such a high sensitivity that they're never moving their arm, and they can basically turn around by just like lightly like going backwards, and those people don't use any space. But for, I think, a beginner, it's hard to do either. We're not used to making big movements with our elbow or our arm, and I'm also not used to having my mouse on like 1,000 sensitivity. So it's like I'm kind of stuck in the middle. Yeah, you know.
Oh yeah,
it's very weird
for sure. Weird. Well, like when I was watching like some of the Shroud videos earlier today, just because I was trying to figure out how he plays, because I just think he plays really well.
Yeah.
he was like, Dr. Disrespect was like, what sensitivity do you play on? He's like, oh, like 9.8. And he was like, oh my God. And I'm assuming that's really high, I guess, for either he was playing in Blackout. But he's just like so accurate. And Doc was like, I should move it up more. I guess like 9.8 was high.
It's weird though, because
I don't know how that rating works.
usually when you're higher, it's just so much difficult to be accurate.
I mean, but
you know what I mean?
I think he's just the way he plays. I mean, he was a CS:GO player, so I think he just has like that flair, or that really good just like clicking, or what I mean?
It's weird because it seems like really like going back to the Halo days, just to go back for a second, like if you would see some kids who would like turn their sensitivity all the way up, right? And they'd be like, oh, I'm pro. But all of the pro players and really good people always had their sensitivity really low. And so it was kind of like a, not misinformation, but it was kind of like one of those things where people who thought they were good had the sensitivity high, but that wasn't really the case. And then now it seems like that's kind of becoming the case, because especially in Battle Royale, like you need to be able to turn around so much that these kids who like actually, at first I would see someone high sensitivity, I'm like, oh, this person's just trying to be good, they're trash. And now people with the really high sensitivity are like amazing. And when you watch some of these streamers, they're basically, sometimes in PUBG, they're standing in the open field and they're just turning around like so fast
and just blowing people out.
And then they just slow it down and then shoot somebody right in the head, and then they keep it moving, and it's like really, really crazy. And I think that's also kind of a testament to the PC build of PUBG, because on Xbox it really doesn't work like that.
No, 100%. And I think like Halo is different, because Halo, like, you had a longer life. You know what I mean? I think that you were concentrating on the headshot way more, right? So and you had to like, and even if you're shooting him in the head, it took a little while. For this, it's like you need to be fast. Like you have such a limited like lifespan. Like you can't take that many hits. You have to be able to turn around and like get that shot off. And get around. I think it's just different games at this point. But I always played lower sensitivity for a long time, and now I find myself kind of like, because I feel like I need to move faster. I need to like be able to do things a little bit quicker, and so.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I don't know. I mean, I really want to play around my stuff, but when you do, sometimes it can just make things like really confusing, in PUBG. But I moved my sensitivities up a little bit, but maybe I'll start, tweaking. Like a lot of times if you're trying to raise your sensitivity, the best way to do is like every week or something, you like raise your sensitivity up a little bit more. But I don't know. I mean, are you going to consider like moving your stuff at all after watching that and stuff, or no?
No, I think it's different for, like console games. I think if I played on PC more, I would probably do it.
Yeah.
I just don't think I could turn around no matter what, even if I have really high, like, since there's no aim assist, I feel like that it would hurt more on a console than it would with a PC.
Yeah, I just think that for the most part,
for me,
and also in PUBG, like for the most part, occasionally, you'll survive, but if you're getting shot in the back, like you're probably gonna die.
Yeah.
If you're in the open field, so like,
in most cases, for sure.
I'd rather have it like better where I feel comfortable hitting somebody from like farther away than dealing with other stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. The only thing is like I definitely feel like something's off, and I don't know what my sensitivity is, but I feel like my game has improved a lot in PUBG. But the only thing I struggle with to this day is if like there's a guy in say there's a guy in a room and I'm outside the room and we're both near the door. And he comes out of the door and I'm trying to like shoot him and like kind of turn, or like I run in the door trying to shoot him. Like I always feel like I lose more of those close range battles than I should. And I don't know if it's like a sensitivity thing or me sticking to third person or not going first person, but I never feel comfortable going first person really close like that. Like if they're like 10 feet in front of me, yes, first person. I mean, first person, I'll shoot him right in the chest. But if they're like right up against me, I feel like
it's anybody's game.
Yeah, it's so confusing, and like I have no idea what's going on. Those battles like really suck for me on PUBG, and maybe that would just be better if my sensitivity was like super high, so I could run in the room first person, like Call of Duty style. I really don't know.
Maybe. I mean, you could soft aim too from first person. You don't have to aim.
Oh, sure. I never do that.
I know. I forget you could do that too. So I think like I should do that more, because like I have it. So I know you have type B settings right on your controller. I have type A. It's that way. I think I just double tap the controller to aim down sight, so like I can soft aim fairly easily. I don't know how it is for type B.
Yeah, it's just left bumper. Over the shoulder is left bumper. Soft aim is.
Well, that's over the shoulder if you're is a soft aim of third person. But are you type A or B? I thought you just, if you hit left bumper, you went right down sights. I have to double tap.
No, on type B, it's left bumper is over the shoulder, and anytime I touch the left trigger, whether I tap it or hold it.
Oh, left bumper. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So you need to use left bumper too.
Well, no, right bumper is the soft aim, isn't it?
I don't know for type.
No, right bumper is the go. Oh no, so to soft aim, I need to hit right bumper to go to first person, and then hit left bumper to soft aim.
Yeah, I mean I'm right bumper to
weird.
go to first person, but I'm left trigger once to soft aim or hold left trigger.
I see. Yeah, it's not. It's a little bit different because I have the left bumper thing.
Yeah.
Sorry if that's confusing for everybody else, but yeah, there's definitely some downsides to it. But the whole like aiming down sights though, when I want to, is still worth it for me on type B.
Yeah, I don't usually have an issue. I guess I've just gotten used to it at this point. But I mean,
I probably would have, but dude, when I like panic fired or like panic zoomed in, I would always like soft aim instead of zooming in when I wanted to. You know, if like someone's like scared me, you know, I would like hold left when I wanted to like zoom in, and it just was getting me killed sometimes. So
yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm the opposite. I always felt like I didn't want to zoom in. Like I felt like if I was gonna squeeze the thing, I'd rather not be zoomed in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, everyone plays differently. I just I don't know. I don't know what my logic is really with that. I just got used to it. I just like whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, no, I was getting pretty used to it. And for anybody that switches though, like if you want to try out type B, you really need to give it like a fair shake. Like you need to play with it for more than a week to really get used to it. It took me like about a month to actually get used to it. So if you want to try it out, make sure you at least try it for like a week or two. And there's still a lot of people who use type A, but like because I say that because on Reddit and stuff, like everyone's like play type B, you know. And obviously if type A works for you, stick with type A. Don't feel like you have to switch to type B just because people say you should.
Yeah, Reddit's a bunch of trolls anyway. They're all lying.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
And also, while we're on the PUBG topic, there wasn't a point in me making like a whole video about this, but in the recent PUBG community post, they were talking about some stuff with PUBG. The most recent one, they do this every Friday. It's usually there's a lot of information. I make a video about it, but this one did not have any information in it really, except for the fact that they admitted, me and you were talking about this, so I wanted to bring it up while we were talking to each other. Mm-hmm. They basically admitted that like the graphics over time and loading gets worse. So like you have to hard restart your Xbox to fix it. And I was watching some videos and I hard restarted my Xbox before, and like those videos I recorded look so much better than my videos from like 2 weeks ago because I hard restarted my Xbox. Yeah, this one video I recorded of Dan looks so good. Like the graphics don't even look like Xbox. I'm like, this looks like PC or something, you know, or like something better.
Oh my gosh.
And it's, yeah, so basically if you guys feel like it doesn't look right, or basically, let me just take a step back. If you guys are playing PUBG on any console, it's worth it for you guys maybe a couple times a week to hold down your power button and completely restart your Xbox. Just turning it off does not turn your Xbox off. You need to hold down the power button for like 10 seconds or unplug your Xbox in the back, and that will do a cold reboot, and that will help with some of the loading issues in PUBG and also the graphics, which I kind of knew about the loading issues. They kind of admitted that before, but now that they said this thing about the graphics, I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Well, I wonder why it's doing that. It must be like storing all this in memory or something. Because there's every now and then when I play, I have to cold boot it because like I'll log on and the first game is like nauseating. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, they said it's storing all this memory cache, I guess, and like it's not there. They tried to optimize like how it dumps it, like after a while it like lets it go, but I think they're having an issue with that again. So right now, you just need to. The only way to get rid of it is the cold reboot.
I'm not gonna lie, man. That's a really dumb issue. Like I'm just trying to think of it like from like working in like technology and everything, and like caching things in memory. Like usually you have to reboot things, but I mean, as a video game designer, like that's just a really like poor issue to have. I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
To
man.
be blunt about it, like that's kind of frustrating.
Yeah,
that's actually
it really It really seems like, you know, they kind of like quickly made this game with not prepping for like all this stuff, which I guess kind of makes sense because you don't know if the game is going to be successful or not. And then
I feel like
it just seems like it's not built for all this stuff at all. It's kind of crazy.
No, and I mean, I feel like sometimes what they did was like, we need a lot of developers and we want ones that speak Korean and English, right? And then they were like, okay, there's not enough game developers, all right, like who's next? And they're like, well, there's not this many developers of this. And then they like went and hired people that like made like, you know, websites You know what I mean? They made like Google, like, they made Wix websites, and these guys are programming video games. They don't really understand like some of the intricacies of making a video game work properly. Like they could be great engineers and software engineers and game design, like, or not game designers, but I don't know, like, but they just don't understand the intricacies of like designing a full-fledged game, like Activision.
I mean, who knows exactly what happened that way? But I mean, that could definitely be a thing. But what Andrew was referencing is that, because I had told Andrew, maybe you knew yourself, but like, because I was looking at PUBG job posting, is that most of their jobs, when they were looking for developers and all this stuff, they were looking for people who also spoke Korean, which nothing against people like speaking a different language or making that a requirement. But obviously, if you're going to make it where you need to speak English and Korean, like that's obviously narrowing down your developing, like the opportunity pool, that the pool of people you can employ, it's narrowing it down a lot. So that's kind of what Andrew was referencing, and definitely could have caused some problems. So I wonder what they ended up doing, if they just hired more people. Or to me, I don't know. I guess I could see them having a preference for that, but I don't understand why you just hire the best developers available and then get a translator or something.
I mean, I think like you can see like, I don't know, like Activision releases some engineers want to leave Activision, and they're like, oh yeah, well, you don't speak Korean, but meanwhile these guys know how to make a video game. You know what I mean? Like these are like the most qualified people you can get, and they're like, we'll pass because you don't speak Korean. I like, nothing against people that speak multiple languages. I just feel like if you narrow down your pool like that, you're gonna have some issues. And I don't know if it's that narrow of a pool. It could be a huge pool of people still, but I just can't imagine it being like, if that's one of your priorities. I think like you gotta like reassess and be like, hey, we need to get some people in here, that can really just design this game, and we'll figure out the language barrier as it comes. You know what I mean? Like, let's get this thing working.
Yeah, and what's a shame is I wonder if we'll ever like have more information on like what happened, and even with I kind of want to segue to PS4 too. Even with PlayStation, like who knows? Like it's kind of like a black box. I mean, do they have another development team? Is it the same team that worked on Xbox working on PS4? I mean, I really don't know that much about what it's like to port a game from Xbox or from PC to console and vice versa. Someone wrote in the comments of my last video, which I also wanted to mention, they wrote that like it's easier to bring it to PlayStation. And I mean, there's no factual source on that or evidence. But I think I do remember hearing something that when Xbox One came out, that the way they created the system, that it was kind of hard to port over. But I don't have any factual like basis, like points right now or sources while I'm talking about that. I'm kind of just bringing this up like, just anecdotally, like saying who knows what's going on. It'd be interesting to know because there's so many things. And to segue to PS4, I wanted to say that I made this video about, I called it Bad News for Xbox, talking about the PS4 launch and how PS4 seems like the only hard evidence here is that PS4 is launching with the rank system and Xbox isn't. That's it. But a lot of people have been this video created a lot of controversy. It's my most commented video ever, first of all, by like a long shot, even over the video that has 1 million views. It has almost 500 comments right now.
Well, rolling ice cream just isn't that controversial, I guess.
Yeah. But it literally lit up. I mean, people were like furious with this, saying that I was wrong and all this stuff. And I mean, I was speaking a lot of opinions in the video, so it's fine to disagree with me. But some of the stuff there was just facts. And that's one of them. And then some of the stuff that we can kind of speculate on is that it is possible that the PS4 could launch with some small things. None of this stuff is major. It's not important. I was just looking at the facts that they might launch with like the Scorpion, the machine pistol, the rank system, and some things like that. So the Square Donut kind of wanted us to talk about, shout out to the Square Donut. We're shouting out a lot of people from the stream here. Wanted us to talk about the PS4 launch, and I wanted to see if you had like seen that video or like that, how many views it got. Cause it's up to almost 20,000 views now, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy comments in there.
I did. I actually like commented on it. Mistakes. I think like we talked about this like before, it's really just the principle of it. Like,
because it's not a big deal. It's a rank system. Who cares?
100%.
It's not about that. It's really about the big picture. And then also if we're behind, then that means that we could possibly continue to be behind. And it was just kind of that, hey, this is the facts. Here it is.
And I think like it's people, it's hard to say because these are 100% facts. And, the thing is like Bluehole and Brendan Green have touted like, hey, we are for the community and all this stuff. And then like when you kind of have this happen, like you're kind of just like, well, and the thing is like, I know from experience and working in this industry, having servers is extremely expensive and they need money. Like, I don't care who you are, they 100% need money. So they're charging for the game because they're not like Fortnite's, you know, they don't have the same model as Fortnite. They're not doing the same thing. They started one way and they can't. It's at that point when it came out on Xbox, it was too hard to switch to the same model. Like, they were probably they're running on money that have bought games and they made a ton of money, but servers are expensive, man. Developers are expensive. All these things are really expensive. And then getting a good thing like, hey, we can keep developing this game. We go on Xbox, charge people $30. You know, we're for the community. And then you kind of have this, it's just kind of hard for people to digest. And I think like a lot of people, you know, like one thing was like people were saying like, oh, well, PC this and that. And it's just like, well, PC's up to date. It will be even with PlayStation 4. So imagine if Xbox or PS4 get something that, you know, PC doesn't. And, you know, there's a ton of gamers that don't play PUBG anymore because of some of these issues. Like Shroud doesn't play PUBG anymore really because of the issues. So, you know, I think like, you know, it's kind of like hard because you want to be for the community and like there's still these issues that like exist and people, you know, they've lost some of this like huge streaming, you know, like free publicity that they're getting from these streamers playing because like they're just not resolving some of these issues. And then you're going to do this whole thing with Xbox. You know, it just kind of puts you like, well, are you really doing this for doing this for us sometimes? And that's kind of how I felt after that, you know, announcement. But like, I still play the game. I love the game. It's not that I don't love the game. I think it's just one of those things you're just like, you know, it's just the principle of the matter. Like, come on, like how hard is it to add ranked to make it even with everybody to Xbox? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And yeah, and
that was
tentatively
a rant. Sorry,
they said
everybody.
no, it wasn't really at all. It was fine. I mean, it makes sense. And yeah, they said tentatively coming in January, and it should be launching with PlayStation. And like people said, you know, they said the rank system is BS. Honestly, it sounds like it is. Sounds like it's like barely a rank system.
100%
What I would like to see is actually be a ranked playlist where when you play public matches, that's it. It's just public casual. And then if you want to play like a competitive match, you go into like a ranked playlist, and that's for, I mean, maybe there's not a lot of people doing that. Maybe it's only for duos and squads or something first of all, so they don't break up the player base and all that stuff. I don't know. I think something like that would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
And also another thing about the PS4 launch is that, you know, as Xbox players, whether we like it or not, PS4 has outsold the Xbox One.
Yeah.
So there's definitely going to be more. There's the potential for more players. I mean, PUBG's already been out for a long time now, so maybe people, you know, don't care about it as much on PlayStation. But if the hype is there, there's definitely a potential for that community to be bigger. So, you know, they could potentially have some more like leverage that way. But either way, I really hope that they figure out something to keep all of the games on track, and also, it'd be really nice to see some crossplay with PUBG, Xbox, and PS4 so that the community is bigger. I mean, really, ultimately, that would be huge for PUBG. That would keep the game like really solid. They would have less issues with matchmaking. I know that right now, me and you don't play it, but there's some people who have really bad issues trying to matchmake for first-person mode, especially if you're in a different region other than the US.
Yeah.
So there's like huge issues with that. So I really hope they can try to strike a deal with Sony that way.
Yeah.
And also, I'm hoping, maybe I'm just being optimistic, that they're going to launch the snow map across all three platforms at the same time. And at the end of the day, who really cares, dude? If PS4 gets it like today, we get it tomorrow. I mean, it's annoying, but like, does it really matter? No, because people were like commenting like, oh, you guys are just complaining. Like, obviously it's not going to make or break my day or my life. If we get the thing. I was just being, you know, we're just analyzing and being critical of it. I mean, and that's fair. We're supporters of the game. And that's another thing, dude. People are like, oh, you have no say. Like, what do you mean? I bought the game, and we also bought it as a game preview. If you buy something, like, you have a say.
Oh yeah.
You just spent your money on it. I mean, that's life, dude. Like, you're saying like, you'll accept anything. You'll buy a house that's falling down, but because you already paid for it, you have no say. Like, that argument doesn't make any sense to me.
No,
I mean,
I
you have no say to lash out at people and like say crazy things or like threaten the company, but you can be like, dude, you guys F this up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Tweet at Brendan Green. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's definitely a thing. I mean, the internet's crazy, and obviously in this video, there's just, you know, people are trolls and people just say crazy things because they can, and some of it's a joke and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like, there's like a happy medium where like you accept it as a customer, and also like you have to, you know, defend like what your purchase in a way. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's where I was saying, like, when you mentioned again, like the people can't get into solo first person matchmaking on PC, and that was like Shroud. Literally, I think he played a game. I remember I saw, like, I keep mentioning him because I just been kind of like binging some of his stuff like a couple weeks ago, and he's like, it took me 3 or 4 minutes to get into a game. You know what I mean? He's like, that's crazy. And that's like an issue, man. Like, it's not, doesn't seem like 3 minutes is long, but it is long. Like when you're just logging on and then you have to sit there and you hit, find a match, and it takes you 3 minutes to get into a game when you have hundreds of thousands of people playing this game at a time. I think that's like, and I think that's just kind of like bothered me when, like, I think someone was like, oh, like, you're not as forgiving as PC players. And it's just like, what? It's like, what? I was like, that's a crazy thing to say. That's impossible to say. Like, there's people that like, so many people have not been playing. Like, you could see, the amount of people playing, the recurring players has dropped quite a bit. And, there's not as many people streaming it, which isn't a bad thing, because people like, for someone like you, because there's still a lot of people that want to play it and still love it, and I think it's going to come back once Call of Duty kind of dies down again too, because a lot of the streamers I think that were on PUBG have gone to blackout just for now, but I think that will change in like a couple months too, if Call of Duty doesn't do something positive with blackout. So
yeah, what's interesting is I've been checking, because a lot of people will comment on my video like PUBG is dead or whatever, and I'm like, obviously it's not dead, but
no, it still has so many recurring players, more than 95% of the other games out there. It's still way better, higher than.
Yeah. But what's crazy is every time I check before I comment, I always check to make sure I'm still like being factual or like right. I'll check, and every time I've checked, literally since this video came out last week, and I've checked multiple times. Every time I checked on Twitch, it's been in the top 5 or top 10. Usually it's in the top 5. But right now, this is actually crazy. I just checked. It's at night, so this is usually during the day. Mm-hmm. Obviously, at night, there's a more influx of players. And obviously, this is subjective. If, like, Ninja goes and plays PUBG, obviously, PUBG is going to be, like, in the top 5 because he has, like, 50,000 viewers, you know what I mean, or whatever. 30,000 viewers. So he obviously brings the game up. But right now, PUBG is not even in like the top 20. You actually have to scroll down like 30 or 40 games because there's only 5,000 viewers, which is kind of strange because I've seen it in the top 5 so much. But right now it's still Fortnite, League of Legends, Counter-Strike, people just chatting, which is no game, and then Dota, and then Call of Duty. So Call of Duty still, I haven't seen Call of Duty in the top 5 like ever, like in the past week checking.
Yeah,
and that's blackout and the regular game.
Well, I think this is just the worst. I think this is probably, to be honest, I think this is probably the least streamed time of the day. It's like a weird time because in Asia it's like 8 a.m. Europe it's the middle of the night, and then everywhere in between doesn't really play video games. I feel like
people are like eating dinner right now and stuff like that. Sure, like I feel like people watch a little bit later, and then people in UK are sleeping.
Yeah, like sure. we're playing games now. We're not watching them, and people in California are just leaving work, and then there's the whole Pacific Ocean, and people in Japan are getting ready for work. You know what I mean? Like that's, I think it's just a weird time, so it's not really a good representation. And in Fortnite, I think, I don't know, people just don't have lives, I guess, with Fortnite.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't even know who some of these people are, but there's like this guy Nick Merckx has 36,000 viewers right now on Fortnite.
Wow.
Cypher PK, who someone said I look like, and it's funny because his name is Cypher, so I looked him up. He's a famous streamer. He is 1, 2, 3, 4 in 5th place with 10,000 viewers right now, concurrent.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I mean, I guess Fortnite's fun to watch. I really don't watch it much. But I guess I think also it attracts a younger crowd, to be completely honest. I think it just gets younger kids, and it's a lot of younger kids like to watch video games. And I think it just because you watch on your phone now, you can do all these things, and I think that's just how it is. And also it is on PlayStation 4 and it's cross-platform, so there's way more. There's it's on a big popular console, more popular than Xbox, so maybe that's it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think it's probably mostly PC players at this point. I think everyone pretty much that wants to be competitive plays on PC.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I mean, I try to think about that myself, like as a streamer and someone doing YouTube. Like, there's definitely a niche for Xbox and console and stuff like that. But sometimes I feel like, oh man, like would I be more successful if I was just doing PC? But I don't think so. I think it really just comes down to like, there's still a lot of people on Xbox, but it definitely does stink to see like that. The PC even blowing up even more because of like the streaming era of video games that we're in right now.
Yeah. And it's funny actually, like someone on another podcast was talking about like that, like he felt that playing PC games, like for competitively was almost a little weird. Like he rather see console games competitive because that way everyone's playing on the exact same platform. With PCs, I could have a good PC, but your PC could be way better. So like people will say, your refresh, I have 120 frames per second. You won't notice anything greater than that. And you could have, 350 frames per second. Like people will say you can't notice that difference. But in reality, when you're playing a video game, it does actually make a difference. Like you can notice it if you're really high level. So like, I get that. Like it could be that those that like, that turnaround, like when you're spinning around in a game and your frames aren't dropping or you have a higher frame rate, you're going to have a more accurate shot. Like that's an advantage. So like that was kind of interesting when I heard them talking about that, like saying like a console would be a more fair way to have these games. And it's like, I don't know if when they play PC, tournaments, if they're all playing on the same PC, I would assume so, but I don't really know. You know what I mean?
They are in League of Legends. They are, but I know what you're saying though. Unless it's like a really big, well put together tournament, like people are playing on their own PCs. But if it is like if it's big, if it's well run, if it's like League of Legends, they have set computers. But they do still, I think they let them bring in their own mouse and keyboard and they plug that in, and then they like mess around with their settings, or they have like a preloaded setting or something. And then they kind of do that.
Yeah, I'm sure they could kind of customize a bit. But I just thought it was a different take. Something I never thought of before. It was kind of interesting to hear. Like, he was a console gamer anyway, so he's obviously biased. But it was definitely an interesting point of view that I'd never really thought of before either.
Yeah. So. And your boy right now, Shroud, is on CSGO right now. CSGO. And he's got the most viewers out of anybody I've seen across all the top games. He has almost 46,000 viewers right now.
Live. Wow. Dude, I'm telling you.
He's really blown up.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't like, I don't know. He just is very tactical, and he was a professional CSGO player, so I think he's kind of like right now doesn't have a home, if you know what I mean. Like he's playing CSGO, I feel like, because he's like, I don't want to play PUBG, because he's like almost like mutiny, or like, what is the word? Like he is refusing to play it or whatever. Until they fix all these issues, right? I don't know what the word is again, like picketing, I don't know.
You could say something
protesting.
Like that, yeah.
He's protesting. And he, you know what I mean? So like in Blackout, I think is just like not his game. I think it's kind of like, maybe it's not his thing. I've seen him street it, but like CSGO is his thing. So he's just playing CSGO. And I bet you that's why CSGO is all the way up there right now, is because he's streaming.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, he's
46,000
like 60,
viewers.
70,000 viewers, and he's 46 of them. So without that, it wouldn't even be like in the top 10 viewership.
Yeah. And it could be because he's playing with someone else that's streaming. I don't know. I mean, probably not. But I mean, I think CSGO probably made a lot. Like if you're a CSGO player and you play PUBG, you probably are actually pretty good at it, because CSGO is probably, I don't actually know that for sure, but
no, but it's probably closer than like Call of Duty is to PUBG.
Yeah, I think it's a little more
probably
tactical.
The closest, because of like the way it plays, like more realistic and stuff.
Yeah, the way the guns work and everything.
So what did you learn, like watching him play? Did you learn anything? Like was he just like call outs tactically, or just the way he moved was tactical? Like what did you pick up anything that, like for the viewers or for us when me and you play, that we could try to like be a little bit better when we squad up?
Yeah, so I mean, like I think the like one thing is that, he's kind of someone that's like realistic, is what I would say. Most times, like when you're in these situations and you're getting into a gunfight and you're like, we could take these guys, we could fight them, let's rush them. He's just like, you know what? Like, let's do this. Like, let's back up. And I think that's really like where people, or even like, I or anybody, we get to this thing where like we're in a gunfight, we get very focused in a gunfight, and we think we're going to win it, and there's situations where we definitely back off, where we know we don't have the drop. But I think like he really assesses the situation and is like, you know what, like this isn't going to work out. Like, let me just go this way. You know what I mean? Like he backs off. He's like, I know if I go this way, and then he lets them catch up. You know what I mean? Like he kind of like backs off and comes back. It's just a different way to look at it. 'Cause like situational awareness is huge. And like, you'll always hear like Joe Rogan always talk about that in like MMA, like, fighting sense, or, the brain set. like your mindset is like so much in playing video games. Like you can be a great shot and have all these great reflexes, but if you're not like sitting there and I feel like and saying, hey, you know what, let's not like we're in a bad position to go after them. Like right now we have cover. To go pursue them, we have to get out of cover and they have shots on us. Like that's a bad move, right? Like I think that sometimes we cloud our judgment. We just do those things because we're like, all right, one of them is down. We could definitely get them. You know what I mean? And like that's not good because there's still 3 people up and you're running out of cover into an open field and they have cover. You know, I think that's like where he just is like, no, like he doesn't like react. He is always like, you know, staying on like a target, you know.
Yeah, it kind of stays cool in those moments, and definitely that happens. I've been doing, I feel like personally, just just self-assessing myself, I feel like I've been doing that a lot better, like solo and even in like duo queue. If I'm playing with somebody who we have like good chemistry, I feel like I've been like recommending like, hey, let's not do this. Today I had a terrible example of that where in one of my first games, I was in the top 4 or top 3, and yeah, it was the top 3, and this guy had just killed somebody, and it was in the very final circle. Shout out to the podcast name, or one of the final circles, and because he had just, I heard like I saw the number go down from 4 to 3 players. So I like left cover because I'm like, oh, maybe he's reloading. And like, why did I take that chance? I went over there, I was out of cover, he peeked and just killed me. So it's like, it's stupid that I even took that chance. It was so dumb. I was in the circle. I didn't need to move. And that's a perfect example of that. And also to piggyback on what you're saying, what's tough for me is that it's easier. I've been learning, to stay back and play a little bit more smart and like assess the situation. It's easier to do that with 1 or 2 people, but when we're playing with 4 people, it's so hard because you got to try to get everybody on the same page, and you're trying to spread out so you don't get killed by a grenade. You're trying to so there's so many things going on that when you're playing with the squad, it's hard to like to move as a unit together, like collectively. You know what I mean?
You always have one person wandering off.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
I mean, I get it. It's definitely difficult, and it's definitely. I think that's like the difference between like competitive players and at your normal average day player is that like they're gonna be like, all right, you know what? If like someone on my team is not good with this situation, then I shouldn't be doing it. You know what I mean? Like we all need to be on the same page here. So it's like and that's tough because like you want to play to win. Like you definitely want to get kills, but like is one kill going to be worth sacrificing the win? I think you have to like always think about that. Like getting and maybe if it's 2 kills, like I can get the win if we just back out, or we can get them in a minute if we just back up a little bit. Like make them think we're leaving.
100%. I think the biggest takeaway is that in PUBG, 2 takeaways here is that like you should shoot to kill. So like if it's debatable that you're even going to kill somebody, it's probably not even worth shooting sometimes, especially if you're by yourself, because you're just going to let everybody know that where you are, even in squads. But like at least in squads, it's more forgiving because your team's got your back. But shoot to kill, and then also like you don't always have to be on the offensive. You can run away. There's nothing wrong with running away. Yeah, for sure.
No, for sure. I was gonna ask you. We're getting towards the end here. So I guess like, is there a bunch of viewers that are PS4 people that are like a Square Donut a PS4 person?
Yeah. So there's a bunch of people that came into the stream after I made that video, and still to this day that are coming in now because the video has like a high influx of views, and I think they see that I'm online or live streaming. Yeah. So now there's a bunch of people who are in there. I'm kind of blanking on some of the names, but there's a bunch of people who are waiting for the game to come out, and Square Donut is definitely one of them that are now subscribed. So yeah. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's kind of funny. Hopefully, it runs well on PS4 for him.
Yeah, I really hope it launches well. I think it's going to launch well. People are really skeptical. They're saying like, dude, it barely runs on the Xbox OG. So like, how is it going to run on the OG PlayStation and also on the PS4 Pro when the Xbox One X is obviously the most powerful one out of all of them? Yeah. So we'll see. They did have a little bit more time, so maybe they've learned from their mistakes. I really hope it works well for the sake of PUBG, and I hope that PUBG can make some kind of deal. Honestly, that would be so sick if they announced like in 2019 crossplay, the winter map, all this stuff. That would be really, really cool. There would just be a lot of influx of players. It would be great for me personally, selfishly, for the YouTube stream, for the YouTube page. More people would be watching like PUBG console videos. It would just be awesome. And I would get to be able to play with all these people, which is cool.
Yeah, and I think for the sake of PUBG, I think they have to do that to stay relevant, to be honest. Not stay relevant, but I think they
I think they do.
They definitely need to push for sure. If Fortnite did it, there's no reason they can't do it, I think, in my opinion. I mean, Is Rocket League cross-platform too, or is that only Xbox and PC?
I thought it was PlayStation, but someone commented that it's only Xbox and PC. But I thought it was PlayStation too. But
Whatever. But
I don't really play Rocket League. So
if Fortnite does it, yeah, I do. I know. I get tired of that game after 30 minutes. Sorry for all the Rocket League fans. Sorry, I meant to say fans for sure. I don't even know what I was gonna say anymore. I just hope we get.
You're saying if Fortnite did it?
Yeah, I think if Fortnite did it, then PUBG should really push forward and be like, come on, like, you know.
But it's literally worth being like, hey, we'll pay you guys money, Xbox and Sony or whatever, because the extra money that will come in from the game being alive, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think it would be worth. I would pay $5 more. I'll put a number on it, maybe more. I don't know, $5 to have cross-platform.
But look at it from this perspective. I'm just saying, like, say it doesn't get cross-platform, the numbers on Xbox start to dwindle out. So you're gonna get the winter map, all this stuff, right, in the next month or two. So say after that, there's no really big planned updates, no rumors, nothing that we know. I mean, there's some small things coming, but say like after 6 months. Yeah. And there's also the next cycle of games that come out in like February. So say over the next 6 months, by like May, the gaming community really trails off on Xbox to the point where you're waiting 10 or 20 minutes just to get a regular third-person match. Then people are really going to leave. Yeah. But if you cross-play with PlayStation and there's triple the community, because people are saying there's actually PS4 outsold the Xbox 2-1. Yeah. So if there's double the community on PlayStation, now you've tripled the community, really, total console. And then that would then they're more inclined to be like, oh, let's do more content, let's do more microtransactions. Then they're making so much more money. Then come May, the game could be bigger than Blackout. And bigger than a lot of games, you know what I mean? Like really, really popular, like bigger than everything other than like Fortnite.
Yeah.
So I think it kind of makes or breaks the next year for it. Kind of.
Yeah. And I think it's not even, and I think that's even sounds weird, but I think it's still really good for Xbox and PlayStation that game is still popular. Like that means people are still on their system, still using, the network, PlayStation network servers and Xbox Live servers and stuff like that. So
100%. There might be people who are just paying for Xbox Live just to play PUBG.
So right. Exactly. Like it just keeps people on the console, which gives them a chance to, more games with gold or whatever, So I think it's not a bad thing to have people on your console playing a game, even if they're playing with someone that's on a different console than yours. So
yeah,
but.
For sure. And that's coming out. We still got 1, 2, 3.
9 days?
It's like 9 days away.
10
days away. 9 days. It's whatever. Next Friday, so today's the 27th. So we got 3 days until Friday, and then it's a week from Friday. So like 9-10 days, depending on if it comes out at like midnight or where you are in the world. So getting pretty close. So we'll have one more podcast before that. And just to recap on everything, so we are on iTunes now, The Final Circle. We're going to eventually be on Google Play, probably one more week, and we'll be on there. I just got to wait for everything to load on iTunes. Going to be posting this on those apps and on iTunes, and on YouTube primarily, just all of those sources. We got the logo. I think that's pretty much all the important stuff. You have anything?
No, I think that's it. Just definitely check us out on iTunes and give us a thumbs up on YouTube if you can. Subscribe to the Blitz 5 channel.
Yeah, for sure. If you guys are feeling extra spicy and you made it this far, you could always try to leave a review on iTunes. We don't have any yet.
I gave us a good review, just
Yeah, you don't have to do that, but if you guys are feeling really compelled to, or you have some extra time, you could do that. And hopefully the audio comes out well with this. We're still kind of like having some small audio issues, really just me doing this over Skype. So once we get that figured out, we'll just be running full steam, and then eventually we'll have someone else on the podcast. Stephen Railey keeps saying he wants to come on the podcast, so he'll be maybe one of our next guests, or unless maybe we'll get Tom on one more time to do another test with a guest, and then or something like that, and then we'll move on from there and keep it going. So then this is kind of our schedule for everybody. There's been a lot of people asking. It's not 100% set, but most of the time we're recording this on Tuesday and I'm uploading it on Wednesday for right now. We'll try to stick to some kind of schedule where it's at least released in the beginning of the week, so you guys can listen to it at any point during the week and then get ready for the next one. All right. So I think we're good. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Hopefully everything came out good, and I'll see you guys on the live stream and talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thanks for making it to the final circle.
Oh yeah. Plenty of final circle puns to come.
Yeah. So many puns. All right. Thanks, guys.
Peace.